I liked this haircut like a week ago. When I got it, I was really proud of myself for doing that. And I liked it for about 3 days. And then it started growing. It grows incredibly fast. And when it started touching the back of my neck, I'm like, please stop. Hey guys, I am Colleen. I'm a person. I like to read and I like to write, but I do whatever on this channel. And today, again, I am going to be yapping about the books that I read in the past 3 days. 4 books, all by Cassandra Gannon. I am just so hooked on this series. I read My Untrue Love first and then went back. I read Wicked, Ugly, and Bad, then Happily Ever Witch, and then Best Night Ever. Because whenever I read one of the books, I see another character and they're just so interesting. All the characters are so fleshed out and so nicely put that I'm like, what's going on over there? And then I read their book and then so on and so forth. I do not have notes because I just did not have time really, because I kept jumping from one book to another. Those 3 books, all part of a kind of fairy tale series, which is what My Untrue Love was part of as well. But the 4th book is something that I had actually in my Kindle for a while. I just didn't notice because the books had different covers before. I'm going to be honest, the older covers were not that great, but really smart move on her part to redo the covers, because we all know that it's a lie when readers say that we do not judge books by their covers. We do, to a certain extent. The new covers are really, really good and just have a sort of a comic book type look to them, and it's so cute, and so I really like it. The books that I read, it's not that they were like flawless perfect, it's just that the characters are so interesting. I couldn't hate it. I could not hate it, because the world, the universe that she created is so, it's not completely unique, but it's just a good, really good twist on the classic fantasy world. I knew this was gonna happen because I do not have notes. I knew that I was gonna yap about like things without order. This is gonna be a bit chaotic, but I will try to summarize concisely. No promises, of course. First book that I read is Wicked, Ugly, and Bad. I mentioned that I was reading this in the previous video. This is the first book of that, a kind of fairy tale series, and most of the book happens in an insane asylum where the ugly, she's not ugly, it was marketing, it was propaganda, where the ugly stepsister was stuck in, and basically over half of the book happens inside the asylum and their efforts to escape. They have a support group in there and they're trying to escape, and most of them were sort of unjustly put there. While I was a bit apprehensive because I don't like books where everything happens in one spot, it bothers me. It didn't bother me as much because I was so drawn to the introduction of this world. Having read the most recent book of hers, I sort of started to understand everything. There's an undertone of a bigger issue in this world where people are born bad and born good. But even though they are assigned these traits and assigned that from birth you're going to be a villain or from birth you're going to be a hero, some of the good people are bad and some of the bad people are good. It means jackal, basically. And what they're trying to do is trying to uproot that stigma. And yeah, I found it so interesting that they gave it that twist. Basically, the characters here, they double up roles. The MC is called Scarlet Riding. So basically, she's Little Red Riding Hood because the ML is the big bad wolf. But she's also the ugly stepsister. Her stepsister is Cinderella, but Cinderella is the evil one in this scenario and sort of put her there. And Cinderella is a character in this book. I will warn readers that if you are at all reverential about the classic Cinderella, do not read this. I would highly discourage you from reading it, because Cinderella does some crazy in this book, and you might not be so keen if you are a Cinderella fan. It's kind of a fever dream, this book. I can sort of imagine the author going, what if this happened? And what if her grandmother is a mafia boss and she's also the Jabberwocky? It's so all over the place, but so cohesive at the same time. I love it. It's of course, a happily ever after. As I said, they are soulmates, fated mates. Most of these books are fated mates. It's always a bit of an insta love, but not in a way that bothers me, surprisingly. The dialogue is always so humorous. And maybe I'm biased at this point because I've read so many. It's just, there's something soothing about it, about reading these books. It's not very high tension. You will hear a chicken because it's early morning and the neighbors have chickens, and the chicken is announcing the breaking of the dawn, and we cannot do anything about that. But anyway, all the fantasy worlds exist at the same time. There's Oz, there's Neverland, but if in the classic they're good characters, like Tinkerbell, for example, they're not good people in the story. There's Camelot, but Arthur is a bad person, is what you get it. It's just, if they're good, they're bad. If they're bad, they're good. The second book that I read, I'm trying to be concise, but I'm not being concise. The second book that I read from this series is Happily Ever Witch. It's about the last dragon and the witch that escaped with scarlet writing from the asylum from the first book. And this is the second book in that series. Her name is Esmeralda. And she is, I'm trying to think if she has a counterpart in the classic. I don't think so. Basically, in this story, she falls into a rabbit hole and is transported to Wonderland, like Alice in Wonderland. And the story, the entire story, most of the story, happens inside Wonderland. They jump from kingdom to kingdom. So each of the diamond, the spade, the club, the heart, they have their own kingdoms, and it's seasonal themed, and it's so it's so chaotic. And they definitely got that part right of Wonderland, where it's kind of the opposite of everything, and up is down, and it's just so wacky and cute. I don't know if this is gonna make sense, but it seems like she had a lot of fun writing all this. And yeah, so it came through, and the world is so colorful and so vibrant, is what I will use to describe it. Basically, the whole story happens with them trying to stop the Queen of Clubs from taking over the whole Wonderland. And in the end, oopsie, spoilers. Everything spoilers. What they do to stop the evil Queen of Clubs is for Esmeralda to become the queen herself of the whole Wonderland, and they succeed. This ML is a bit more he's not my kind of guy, but it was still funny. He was a bit of a narcissist, but not in a way that is meant to be annoying. I don't know how you're gonna believe me when I say that a narcissist is not annoying, but an endearing, sort of an arrogant guy. In a fictional context is what I'm saying. I really enjoyed the jumping from world to world. They have a different story for each of the worlds, and everything is connected, and this person is also that person. In the asylum for the first book, Snow White is there, but she's the warden and she's evil. In this book, she is also revealed to be the daughter of the Queen of Clubs. It's such an intricate web of everyone is related to everyone, and I really like that. Enjoyed this book as well. And the third book is called The Best Night Ever. The mains are both MLs. Galahad, and he's a griffin. Jeez Louise, what is his name? Why am I so bad at this? It's not that I didn't like him. Tristan. It's Tristan. We'll assign Galahad as the MC, because he kind of is a super popular, super good-natured knight of Camelot. And he was on the wrong side of the war because there was a previous king, Uther, and as a knight, he was sort of blinded by his knight's code thing and accidentally, unknowingly fought on the wrong side of the war, but then he later discovered the truth, and so he kind of became a recluse. And Tristan goes out to find him because the new royal family of Camelot are very close with Galahad. Tristan is a griffin, which is the race that they annihilated in the previous war with Uther and with Galahad at the helm of it. So they're kind of on opposite sides. But it's so cute, and they had so many adventures, and they went to Atlantis, and it's just so fever dreamish, and I really liked it. Again, there are some parts where you're kind of, the description is getting very long, but it comes together really well in the end, and you will see that it makes sense. They go on this adventure to go to Atlantis to lift a curse that has been placed on the Griffins because Galahad wants to repent for his past sins against that race. And yeah, they go to so many places. There's even a part here where they kind of touch on like Greek mythology, if that even makes sense. There's Atlantis, there's like Medusa in the story, and basically Galahad is just, let's help everyone and let's do all these good things, and Tristan is just trying to preserve his life because he's such a reckless like force of a person, and he wants to save everybody and make everyone like have a good life and just recklessly good. And basically the whole book, Tristan spends exasperated trying to keep this person alive because he's such a reckless do-gooder. Overall, it's such a good story, and I really like them, and it's so, I don't know, they're so endearing. All the characters are so endearing, and they have such distinct who they are and what they're about and what they're fighting for and their backgrounds, their past, the things that they like, the things that they don't like. I love a fleshed out character. I'm yapping. I'm really on a roll here, yapping. On to the last book. This one is not part of the A Kind of Fairy Tale series. I just finished this one. It's called Not Another Vampire Book. I want to say like 2 hours ago because sleep is for the weak. But yeah, basically, this girl, she's a book editor. She's called, see, I already forgot the name, Donnelly, Carolyn. And she's starting to edit this very cliched, very, basically not a good book. It's called Eternal Sunset of the something something. But yeah, basically it's a shit book, and right from the off she knows that it's a shit book and she doesn't want to really get into it, but she gets isekai'd into that world, very manhwa. She gets isekai'd into that world, and she has to now dodge this vampire king, like a condescending ultimate himbo of a vampire king who now thinks that she is his true love. And it's so wacky and funny. And of course the villain is the guy who is going to be the ML, and his name is Damien. Did not forget that one. And the whole world is sort of under this compulsion to follow along with the story, but as the story goes on, some instances, the mains mostly, kind of wake up, if that makes sense. Some of the characters wake up and start not following the plot. She has the manuscript with her inside the world, so she knows what's supposed to happen. So she knows every time that this person deviates from that and what happens. And basically they fall in love. She falls in love with Damien, so there's a bit of an... I was a bit scared with this one because they're from different worlds, basically. But I'm going to spoil this because I am so glad that this ended this way. They both end up in her world, which is so exciting. I do wish that the author gave it a little more time, like a few more chapters, so I can enjoy them being in the real world, because that's how it ends. And again, they're fated mates, because this author has a thing for fated mates, and I also have a thing for fated mates. That there's something about the inevitability of it that I'm always drawn to, fictional context. And yeah, I really liked it, and it's just so funny. And the Vampire King Slade, the ultimate himbo and the ultimate like resistant to anything smart, and he was a bit of a sexist, but I don't know how you're gonna believe me when I say that it's in a funny way. But I guess you just have to read it to understand. Basically, I enjoyed all books, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna read a lot more from this author. If I find any more like romantasy or a bit more of a spooky-ish story, I will definitely be reading that. But for now, I will keep reading a lot of Cassandra Gannon, and I suggest you do too. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you check out Cassandra Gannon. If I'm pronouncing her name correctly, I am so sorry if I'm not, and I am such a fan. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe if you want to, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!